Hello, Allah. Good evening. Yeah. Uh, are you able to see my screen? Yeah. Hamira, you there? Hello. Yeah. Okay. Uh, Today we'll try to see important life cycle model. So that is nothing but agile methodology. Okay. So you may be aware of there are so many life cycle models you will come across in our software development life cycle. So those are nothing but waterfall model, V model, then fishbone model, spiral model, rapid application development model, prototype model, and agile methodology. And another model also you will come across. So that is nothing but PET, process experts tool. But in all these models, famous models are waterfall model, V model, and agile methodology. So a couple of years back, if you take companies and as clients as well following like waterfall model or V model, but trend is changing and most of the clients turning to agile methodology. Why? If you think about it, like normally a waterfall model or V model, when you go for like before starting up the project, you should have 100% clear requirements. Then only you can go ahead and start up with like your V model. But what is the major drawback of waterfall model or V model is like uh, before starting up the project you have 100% requirements, right? So that is the major drawback. Okay. So uh, see here, so you have one project client come to you, he has given his requirements, all of his requirements you have to gather and document. Means how much time it will take? Minimum all the requirements you have to gather means it will take, it depends on the complexity of the application. I can say like 6 months to 1 year. Then you, this means like this is the time tenure for understanding, gathering requirements, making up with like BRS, SRS, and reviewing everything finished letters. Then developers uh, okay, sorry, before that architects will take these requirements and come up with their architectural documents. So I have muted all. Whenever you have questions, you just message me or keep a note. So once we finish our class, or even in middle, you can message me. We will discuss. Okay. So for analysis, it will take 6 months. Complete the requirements you have gathered letters also. Then architect gets into picture. They understand all these requirements and then come up with their high level design and low level design. Complete requirements mostly. Okay, that is the kind of stuff it will go in waterfall model or even V model. Okay, then developers will come into the picture like real development. So how they come up is like they will be gathering requirement, they'll be gathering sorry, they will take up requirements as well as architectural documents, understand and develop their development activities. Here let us assume analysts separately they are sitting, even designers also they are separately sitting, developers also uh, by referring architectural documents they understand and come up with creating or come up with programming. Let us assume developers understand these design documents in their own point of view. Analysis phase business analyst gets involved, and they made documents this ready with a different point of view. Architects they understand in their own point of view, so it may happen, right? But here waterfall model, a V model, if we take, are there any chances to get all these people sit together and discuss? Never happening. It's never happening. Only the thing is, business analysts they will make the documents, they themselves review, okay, and send them to architectures what they are doing. So architectures they understand these requirements and come up with their own documents like high level design and low level design. But here uh, nowhere you see like in between communication, like developers are architects are business analysts. So then developers are getting these architectural or high level documents. By referring them, whatever they understand, they come up with their implementation. Okay, now testers come into the picture. So testers also, these two people never sit together and discuss about their requirements. So everything here what happening is like in their own point of view they are understanding, accordingly they are coming up with. So like this, let us suppose this is what happening in waterfall model and V model. Once entire development done, then it will go to client finally. At that time client realized, so oh that is what his expectations, but here something else they developed and send it to them. Okay, so that is what happened. Okay, so only the thing here is like a communication gap in between different team members. So here nowhere like analysts or architects or developers or testers sit together and discuss or are not on the same place. Okay, each and everybody understanding in their own point of view. So then they're developing. Finally, as soon as client is see, he is thinking about like, oh, he expected something else, but something else they got. This is what exactly that thing happening in waterfall model or V model. To overcome this problem, what's supposed to be done is like all in between team members, like different team members, whatever you have like analysts, designers, developers, testers, all sit together and have to think about like how to understand that each and every requirement, and they should be on the same page. If that is the case happen means, then only you will develop the quality product. That is what never happening either in waterfall model or V model. So to overcome all these drawbacks of V model, they come up with like agile methodology. Okay, so in agile methodology, how it will happen is like it's not like first they'll gather requirements, then they will go for architectural documents, then they go for development. It's not the case. But you may get confusion again. Like during V model, I could have told you like every phase, all team members gets involved, but each and everybody they nowhere communicating. Testers separately their sitting, developers separately their sitting. Okay, so during analysis phase, what I told, during analysis phase analysts gets involved and they will be coming up with their uh, requirement documents and they themselves reviewing. That's what I said. Nowhere said business analysts or developers and testers all meeting. Did I say it any time during V model? Never. Developers and testers also gets involved, but they are not talking with about these requirements. But what they are doing, developers are coming up with their development activities plan, and testers are coming up with their testing activities plan. But they are not putting their efforts for understanding requirements or spending time with developers or testers or analysts or something like that. It's not happening. So that means like analysis. 6 months they will spend. during that 6 months of time or something like that, they'll be spending time for gathering requirements. But and another thing is like, so once they gather complete requirements, then it will go for design, then it will go for development, something that is what happening in your agile methodology, sorry, in your V model. So the drawback of this one is like, once customer receives his application, he see not exactly he want. So to overcome that problem, agile methodology is the best suit. So agile methodology, the approach, planning, everything entirely different. So how it will happen is like, uh in agile methodology, okay, we'll go one by one now. Whenever the situation comes up at the time I will explain you. So we'll see like agile methodology. Okay, so even this one also I will explain you during end of agile methodology topic. So that is the best point. So these definitions and all those one I don't really remember. If you want, you can read under the. That is the best way I can tell you, but I never try to remember. But simply how you can define it like, iterative and incremental or evolutionary model, performed in a highly collaborative manner by self-organizing teams within an effective governance framework, using just enough ceremony to produce high quality solutions in a cost effective and timely manner, meet the changing needs of the stakeholders. Okay, so this is the way, whatever you feel comfortable you can define, but simply you have to define agile methodology means iterative, or incremental or evolutionary model. In agile methodology you will come across so many methodologies. Those are nothing but like scrum, extreme programming, adaptive software development, dynamic system development method, so future driven development, agile unit process, a family of agile methodology like crystal, other agile methodology also you will come across. But remember, sorry, in all these methodologies, agile scrum methodology is the famous one. Okay, scrum methodology is the familiar one, and most of the clients, most of the projects going for like scrum methodology. Okay, so whatever we are discussing, even it's, and don't ask me like abbreviation or expansion for scrum. There is no abbreviation or expansion. Okay, the term itself they made it as like scrum, a framework structured to support complex product development. So consists of scrum teams and their associated roles, events, artifacts and rules. So high component within the framework serves a specific purpose or essential scrum success and uses. So the business sets the priorities. A business analyst will be there. So those people sets the priorities, and who all are working for that project. That means like different teams will be working. So those teams themselves self-manage to determine the best way to deliver the highest priority features. Okay, so history whenever you have time you can go through. So normally it was started in 1995. So then 2001 publication agile software development with scrum by Ken Schreiber and Bike Bedell. These are the guys come up with like agile software development with scrum. Successful appliance of scrum in over 50 companies in the year of like 2001. So founders are members on the agile alliance. So what are the characteristics are like, self-organizing teams. each and every team that kind of intention like self-organizing teams. Product progresses a series of month-long sprints. This is important. Normally, in waterfall model or V model, there are two types of releases you will come across. Those one you can call it as major release and minor release. So major release will be like 1 month, minor release will be like 3 months, but it's not like stable. But in agile methodology, you don't call like releases or something like that. Each and every cycle you will call it as a like sprint. So normally sprint duration is like 2 weeks to 7 weeks. At 2 months also you can plan. Okay, 2 weeks to 7 weeks. But most of the projects they are following like 4 weeks, like 1 month long. Okay, so that is what whatever see in our current project. If we take initially they were following like 1 month, 4 weeks, but nowadays they were changed it to like 5 weeks. Like that depends on the situation. What is best to suit for your application at that point of time? That is what you try to follow. Requirements are captured as items in a list of product backlog. In waterfall model or V model, if you go for like business requirement specification or SRS software requirement specification or functional requirement specification, you will consider it as even use cases. Just yesterday I was discussing, right? So that is nothing but like your requirements or FRS document will call it as, or even use cases. But each and every requirement for that application in agile methodology, what will consider it as like product backlog. Okay, product backlog you will call it as. And even product backlog, each and every product backlog, like Gmail, if you take registration, one product backlog for that entire application. If you take registration, login, compose mail, inbox, outbox, send mail, drafts, trash, chat, each and every module, each and every feature is nothing but one user story. Okay, all this comes under like product backlog. So this is startup project, let us suppose. Now in your product backlog, which are the items you are having, which are the user stories you are having, all these features like registration, login, inbox, outbox, compose mail, drafts, trash, everything is nothing but one user story. In waterfall mode or V mode, what you will call it as? Requirement you will call it as, or use case you will call it as. But in agile methodology, the terminology you are pronouncing as like user story. All these user stories you are considering it as like product backlog. Okay, so no specific engineering practices prescribed. Time to time you can go for. So Scrum framework, if you take how it handles is, this is how it handles different teams. Who all are the team members? The major team members in your agile methodology is like okay. So before that, waterfall model or V model, if you take, you will come across different teams, right? Like product manager, sorry, uh, what do you call? Business analyst, developers, QA team, architect, design team, business analyst team, analysis team. Okay, so design team, development team, testing team, release team separately. Okay, so that is what you will be having. But and apart from the project manager, test manager, something like the senior project manager, those are the kind of roles. Even here also you will come across. There also will be there, but here the entire terminology gets varied. So Scrum Master, he is the not a Scrum Master, product owner. He is the guy like should be aware of what exactly the business requirements. Okay, what exactly he is expecting, what are the project he is going to deliver, he is trying to come up with. That means like complete understanding about that application, he should be having very clear picture. At any point of time during midnight, if you ask something about that feature, he will be the best guy to provide you the idea about that feature. Complete ownership of that application. Now, complete ownership means complete idea he will be having, clear picture, each and every feature. So Gmail, if you take end to end complete picture he will be having. Okay, so that means with respect to his business requirements, what is exactly his business. Okay, so that kind of guy, very high level, you will come up with like product owner. He will be the base for all the team members. At any point of time, any team member about future or specific module have questions means very well can go him, he will guide you at any point of time. Then scrum master will come up with like in waterfall model or V model, team lead. Here you will consider it as like scrum master. Okay, so as of now you remember like a scrum master is like team lead, but what exactly his roles and responsibilities, what he will be doing going forward, step by step I will come up with at the time everything. Then uh, the team will be there. This is the team, you will call it as like scrum team. That is the team, you will call it as like scrum team. So before starting up the project, let us suppose you are having, these are the backlog items. Gmail, if you take, how many backlog items are there? 20, let us assume. So this is nothing but like product backlog. So depends on the complexity of the application. Before starting the project, they should be having some idea, right? So how many releases they have, what is the time tenure for this application for developing. Okay, so like that 1 year or 1.5 year or 2 years, like that they will plan. Then that means like 2 years means okay. So initially how we'll come up with sprint duration, how much we'll plan. So normally for any of the project initially means they will go for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but mostly 4 weeks they go for. So here let us suppose 100 you are having. For Gmail means only that are the features, but again sub features you may come up, right? Like that. So 100 or 200, let us suppose. Let us suppose one application that 200 backlog items are there. Okay, then depends on the 200 means, oh, they will plan like 1.5 year or 2 years, something like that. Let us assume this is 2 years project. 2 years means month means how many releases you will come up with. I mean like releases you should not call in scrum framework. How many cycles or how many sprints you will come up with, means 4 week life cycle if you follow, then 24 sprints you will come up with. Again in waterfall model or V model you will come up with like major model. That means like every 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, exactly like that. Here also major sprint will call it as. For that one whatever the name you want you can call it as. Okay, so spectrum or some whatever the names, that those naming conventions are whatever you feel comfortable, that is fine. Okay, but major sprint, not sprint. Sprint means every month, major sprint means 4 week, 4 months or 5 months or 3 months, something like that. Okay, like that they will plan. So here 200 you are having, 100 backlog items you are having. So 100, 101, 102, how they will make this backlog items names, how they will give is like 105 login, one login, one registration, two like login, three compose mail, four inbox, five outbox, something like that. What are the index they want, what are the number they want, they can give it up for each and every backlog item. Okay, so for this sprint let us suppose names as usual how they come up is like sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. like that only they come up with. Okay, normally sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4 only they come up with. So let us suppose you are in the first sprint. So how they will plan is like, here backlog item you are having 100. From those 100, uh, I will explain in detail later. Just right now I will tell you like 2 or 3 backlog items or 4 let us suppose 5 backlog items they are taking. On which basis they will take 5 backlog items, that is what I will explain you later. Okay, so as of now let us assume 5 backlog items they are taking. Those 5 backlog items, that means like 5 user stories, so needs to be finished in 4 weeks of time. Okay, these 4 weeks of time, these 5 user stories needs to be done. So whoever responsible they will be taking up. And in waterfall model or V model you go for means, how meetings or status meetings you will be having is like every week once. Every week once, all developers they meet and discuss what is the status, what are the activities they performed, what are the issues they faced, how they resolved, if there are any issues how they are going to resolve. These are the kind of stuff developers sit together and discuss, and testers also as usual sit together and discuss. Okay, and try discussing about like just their status for that week. Remember, in V model, development team sits separately and discuss. Testers separately they meet and discuss. And another thing here is like all team members in one location. Then meet in some conference room and discuss. But different team members in different locations. Let us assume all testers 10 members are there, 5 in Bangalore, 5 in US. At that time they will meet in some conference and discuss. At that point of time, mostly Monday or Friday is not good. Why means it's not flexible, right? In US it's night time, in India it's daytime. So due to that what they plan is like Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, these 3 days, some comfortable day they will plan and meet together and try discussing about like their status. That is weekly. But and every team separately they meet. But in agile methodology is entirely different. Every 24 hours they will meet, like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, one comfortable time. Even the teams sit in different locations, one comfortable time they will feel, they will decide. And that time like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes 40 minutes, it depends on the team size. And remember another thing, all project members including product owner, means product owner, scrum master, this team normally what we will call it as like scrum teams. Okay, that means like scrum team again, development team, testing team. Development team also you will call it as like scrum team, testing team also you will call it as like testing scrum team. Okay, so all sit together like developers, product owners, scrum master. Okay, all business scrum master and even business analyst under scrum, under product owner, business analyst will be there. Product owner, then under him 2 or 3 or 4, it depends complexity of that application. Okay, so business analyst will be there. So all sit together and discuss about their status. That is, that one you will call it a like daily scrum call. Daily scrum call. Okay. Then at the end of the sprint, see it's again may get vary from project to project. See in agile, in waterfall model or V model, client when he will see his application is like once whole application gets ready, like after 2 years only he will be able to see his application. But In agile methodology, what is the thing is like, as soon as one feature gets ready, okay, so developer or tester have to provide demo to him, to the product owner. Okay, so login functionality once you develop, in that different acceptance criteria will be there, right? For login means what are the different scenarios? Very high flow, like successful login, then unsuccessful login. Okay, all those, what are the acceptance criteria is there? Forgot password, everything, every acceptance criteria you have to provide demo to product owner. If everything is fine, then he will accept that user story and deliver. Okay, then exactly like that, user story 2, 3, 4, 5, let us suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planned for this sprint 1. Okay, so as soon as first user story gets ready, you will provide demo. Second user story gets ready, you will provide demo. My point here is like, these demos, how you will provide is, as soon as you get finished specific user story, you can provide demo, or at the end of the sprint, 1 or 2 days you can plan. During that time, like 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours, how much time it will take for providing demo for all these user stories. So you'll plan and provide demo to your product owner. But product owner demo is mandatory, but how you can come up with, that is what depends on the process you are following for that project. Okay, so that is nothing but like product owner demo. That means like 5 user stories you are planned, 5 user stories you are provided demo, you accepted. That means that sprint you successfully delivered. Okay, that sprint you successfully delivered. So then again you'll move to sprint 2. That means like second sprint, then 5 items got delivered, right? Then this second sprint, which are the backlog items you are going to develop, you will pick up, develop, say, give it to product owner demo, sign up. Okay, so this is the cycle will be repeatedly happen. Okay, so then along with this one, you will come across in your agile methodology like different meetings. One meeting we were discussed like daily scrum meeting. Along with that one, at the end of the sprint, like sprint review meeting will be happening. Okay, so which are the activities you performed, everything. Okay, so that is nothing but like sprint review. Then sprint retrospective will be also happening. So sprint retrospective and other terminology also you will come across like what do you say, burn down chart and burn up chart. Each and everything is not like it's done, one by one we'll be discussing again. Okay, sprint, so one by one we go now. So this is nothing but like very high level, this is the your scrum framework you will be following in your agile methodology. So sprint, scrum projects make progress of a series of sprints. Target duration is 1 month, but it may get vary from. So product is designed, coded, tested during the sprint. Okay, so for any of the sprint, user stories are change requests you will develop and tested code will be out. Okay, now this is the important thing, which are the different roles you will come up in your scrum framework is like product owner, scrum master and scrum team. These are the different roles you will come up with. Then sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective. Okay, so even daily scrum meeting also, these are the sprint ceremonies you will come up with. Then artifacts, sprint backlog, product backlog, burn down chart, even burn up chart also you will come up with. Okay, these are nothing but like artifacts. So these all are nothing but like your complete Scrum framework. We go one by one. First, roles. Product owner, if you take, so responsible for whole products, future and budget. Okay. Okay. So retro responsible for the entire product, futures and budget, maintains a prioritized product backlog of features are nothing but user stories. See, uh, whenever you are coming up with planning, you may not sure which user story depending on which user story. Let us suppose uh, for this sprint you were planned login, registration and composement. Let us suppose once you get into development, at that time you may realize something else compose mail made depending on in some, just I'm example, this is not good example I know, but like that if you think about it in real time, once you start really work, the prioritize or something else may get vary, right? Today you thought of, so you will develop, you go for registration first, then inbox, then compose mail, let us suppose. But once you start compose mail development, you could have realized before developing composite something else could have I mean like depends on some other thing. At the time what you have to do, you have to change priority, right? So exactly like that, day to day, time to time, whatever the features they plan, it may not be like 100% perfect. So may change priorities of that user storage time to time. At the time, product owner, product manager will take decision. Product owner you can say, okay, and plans continuously. IT industry is like a headache, really headache. Agile methodology if you take waterfall model, a V model, one way, whatever you plan during the initial phase, you follow according to that plan. In middle may get a chance to change that plan, but not like entire stuff or something like that. But in agile methodology, the headache is like entire sprint you will be planning. Today, normally the thing is like for each and every sprint, like in waterfall model or V model, if you go for before starting up the project, you will come up with plan, accordingly you will follow entire project planning at once you will come up with before starting the project. But agile methodology is not like that. How you will plan is each and every sprint you will plan. Okay, that is what. So what are the product backlog you are items you are having before starting up that sprint? You are picking up five sprints, so five user stories I told, right? What does it mean? Before starting up the sprint, you are thinking about like which user stories you have to take for this sprint. That is nothing but planning. That planning, normally how it happens is like all developers, testers, business analysts, designers, deployment team, everybody sit together and plan. Again, see, that means like before starting of the sprint, you'll be taking plan, then you'll start development activities. But again, something make it very immediate. Means what you have to do? Again, all people should take together and plan. That is the really headache stuff in your agile methodology, one way. But another way, this is really uh, outcome that matters, right? So really, quality product they're developing with the help of like a Scrum framework. Initially, even for our project also, they were following like waterfall model, V model. That is the kind of approach. So they really faced so many issues with that kind of approach. Then they were shifted to agile methodology. But these days, like on most of the projects, whatever they plan, they 100% it will get deviate. No project will go with smooth whatever they plan. But one thing, for our project, for past 2 3 sprints, deadlines 100% meeting. That kind of process they are maintaining 100%. What if like even this project is going on for 2 3 years, 2 years, okay, but within by September this project will get over, okay. So now that means like 5 or 6 more months is there, right? But now this project on track, up to date, whatever the plan, whatever they are planning before planning the sprint is really meeting deadlines. But even 2 or 3 months back itself, these project deadlines are not at all meeting, okay. See, this project they will plan something, they may not deliver by the time, and they postpone it to next sprint. Another important thing is like in your Scrum methodology, for this sprint, as I said, like 5 items, sprint one you are planned, but in middle some blockers you come across, okay. So at that time you are unable to deliver these five user stories, let us assume. So you would develop only three. That means like remaining two, what you have to do, you have to carry forward to sprint two. There is no other option. That is what, not only for this project and most of the project, 95% of the project, 95% of the sprints, definitely it will happen, there is no doubt, okay. So like that, two user stories got pending, then what you have to do, you have to carry forward to next sprint. Then for next sprint, how you'll plan is like you have already two user stories, then what is the bandwidth you have for that sprint. So then along with these two user stories, one or two user stories you will pick up and go for development. That is how you will plan in your agile methodology, okay. So before starting up the sprint, you are coming up with plan. Again, in middle, if it's required, you will again plan, all team members sit together and plan, come up with meeting and plan. So that is nothing but like both plan continuously at both release and sprint levels. Okay, so you'll be working 2 hours, 5 hours you'll be talking. Simply I have to say means that is agile methodology. Very simple, very simple. Talk more, work less. Means like here uh, domain plays major role. You have to come up with development or testing. Means you should have clear understanding of that application, right? You have to, if it is simple domain, you don't want to spend much time for understanding that application. But if it is complex domain, what you have to do? You have to understand that domain. That one plays major role. See, coming up with code or coming up with testing is not at all difficult task, but where is the complex portion is like understanding the requirements, understanding end user requirements, client requirements. That one plays major role really. That is the reason first priority goes to like understand the application. Either you are a tester or developer or someone else, you have to understand the application domain, then only you should go for development or testing. So there in middle, if you come across means you have to plan again, okay. So Respect, given respect is a major in the framework that supports a smooth flow of work. So be responsible for the proficiency of the product. If it is waterfall model or V model, okay. Another thing is like when client able to see your application at the end of the 2 years or 1 year or majorly like 5 months or 6 months. But here in agile methodology, who is doing what exactly today? Client will be having very clear picture. Okay, what developer what he is doing today, what tester what he is performing his activities today, how much time he is working, everything they keep track, clients. Okay, so another the disadvantage of waterfall model v model is like clients won't be having clear picture about what's happening in your project, right? That is a major drawback of waterfall model or v model. But agile methodology, that is a major advantage. So that means proficiency of the product, that means like what you are doing, he is having very clear picture, right? Then you should work, no other option. So what you are developing, whatever you committed. And another important thing is like before starting of the sprint, whatever you are committing at that time before planning session, you will commit something. You are responsible for delivering whatever you are committing at that point of time by the end of that sprint. Without like proficiency, how you will make it? So that is what you cannot meet your deadlines, right? So you should be perfect. So scrum master, so this is the scrum master product owner's responsibility. The scrum master, if you go for like represents management of the project, so servant leader for the team, so defense facilitates coach guide the team. Okay, so removes any all obstacles or impediments, that means like blockers. Okay, so helps improve productivity. He will be handling the meetings. Scrum master is the guy handling all kinds of meetings, like there are so many meetings, right? Daily scrum meeting, sprint retrospective, sprint review, okay, and sprint planning, everything works under like scrum master. So if not the decision maker unless requested, nothing, everything control is in product owner only, everything. Okay, so he cannot take any of the decision. Normally waterfall model or v model means who will take decision? Your team lead or project manager is the decision maker. Specific feature is there means he can take decision and deliver. But that is not the case if it is like agile methodology. So product owner most different client, scrum master most different companies. At that time is like remote will be there, or within a project how many team members are there, every team member work under product owner. So you are working, but how you have to work, remote will be there in product owner hand only. Product owner hand, remote will be. Okay, so he only control all of your everything. Okay, so like the scrum master also, like a team member, he cannot take any of the decision at any point of time without consulting product owner. So cannot commit to dates, anything, that's what budget, whatever the thing it is, but does facilitate the progress process by which the team and the stakeholder make commitments. Ensure that the rules of Scrum are followed. So before starting up the project, what are the rules? What are the standards they set up? He is the right guy to follow those standards. Again, those standards may get vary from situation to situation. Development team. Okay, so these people, development team or testing team, in agile methodology you will call it as like scrum teams. Okay, so perform the actual work of problem solvers and decisions. So select the sprint goal. He will be developing. Developer, what he will be doing? What are the plans you plan for the sprint? he will be taking up those user stories and developing. Okay, so produces the sprint backlog on the estimates. So demos normally developer development team only. Once they develop their feature, these people only provide demo to product owner. So rely on the product owner to describe features. So rely on scrum master team remove obstacles, self-display and self-organized. This is the very important thing, very important characteristic in your agile methodology. Makes major decisions collaboratively. Then the scrum team, normally development team and testing, we will consider it as like development team, typically 5 to 10 people. Let us suppose for this project 30 developers required. At that time, it's not good to frame 30 members as a single team. So it's good to divide them two teams or three teams, even four teams. Okay, as low members as possible. So that team will be perfect. Normally minimum is 5, 6 or 5 or 6, even 10 also more actually. Okay, so how they frame is like a QA team, testing team, programmers, UI designers, everything. But separately, not combination. Cross-functional, members should be full-time. These are common, you are aware. Items are self-organizing. Then ceremonious. Sprint planning. This is important. Okay? Sprint planning is nothing but like uh, see, before starting up the sprint, what they do is like uh, they plan like develop. Let us suppose we'll take testing team. So testing team, how many resources are working? 5 resources. Let us assume one resource per day. How many hours you will come across? Really 8 hours working hours if we take, but 1 hour or 2 hours it will go for like meetings. Scrum methodology means mostly meetings will be happening every day, at least minimum 2 hours. Worst case, at least 1 hour or 1.5 hour, but mostly 2 hours. That means like 2 hours go for meetings. That means productive hours. Oh, how many you will come up with? Only 6. So let us assume per person. Okay, 4 weeks means one guy. Let us suppose Ashwini. 4 weeks means you are going to work for 4 weeks means if you are planning to take any leaves, let us suppose 2 or 3 days you are going for leave. That means like how many days you will come up with? Normally 5 days a week means 4 weeks means 4 into 5 20. 3 days you are going for leave. That means 17 days. 17 into 6. How many you will come up with? 17 into 6. I don't remember. Yeah, sorry. Okay, 1 or 2 hours. Let us suppose 5 members are working. 5 members. Let us suppose 5 team members are taking three leaves. Three leaves. That means like everybody getting 5 or 2 hours. Let us assume. So that means 1 or 2 into 5, 10 hours. So this is the testing capacity for this sprint of testing team. Okay, exactly like the developers also. Let us suppose there are 5 team members, and what do you say means they are also having capacity like 5 ton. Let us assume. Then For this sprint, all developers all sit together in one room only, one conference room during planning. And developers, what they do is like, which all are the and another important thing is like, depends on this capacity, how many user stories, how many backlog items they can pick up from product backlog. Product backlog means your 100 user stories, whatever you are having, that is product backlog. Sprint backlog means for this sprint, which user stories you are going to develop. So how much capacity you have? 5-10 hours. So login functionality, if you take, how much time it will take? You have to come up with a design first. Development means design also you should come up with, right? Design, it will take like 30 hours. Development 50 hours, let us suppose, that means 80 hours it will go for 80 hours it will go for login. Per day, how many hours? 8 hours. Within these 8 hours, every day you will come across, if you will be into agile methodology means, worst case at least 1.5 hour you will come across, but most of the days you will get 2 hours. That means you don't work, right? So 8 minus 2, how many you will come up with? Productive hours, only 6 productive hours. Okay, only 6 hours you are getting, right? Okay, so one guy you take, Ashwini. So 3 days you are going for leave. Complete days for sprint is 20 days. Okay, so minus 3 days, how many will come up with? 17. So 17 into 6, right? 17 days you are working, per day 6 hours. 17 into 6, that is what I am doing here. 17 into 6, 7, that is what. Okay, let us assume this is what for Ashwini's capacity for this sprint. Okay, so but let us suppose in your team 5 members are there, complete 5 testers from scrum testers, means 5 into 1 or 2 hours. Let us suppose everybody placing 17 days per this sprint, let us assume, but that is not the case. It will never happen. It will take some time for calculation, that is why I am taking simple calculation. Okay, how much you will get? 510, 510. So let us suppose exactly like that, this is for testing team. Let us suppose 5-10 hours you are getting for testing team, 5 development team also. Let us suppose same 5-10 hours capacity you are having. Now this is the capacity you are having. So what are the let us suppose like sprint backlog, you are having 200 user stories, let us assume. So 5-10 items, 5-10 hours you are having. So login will take login module. Okay, how many hours you will get? Login, let us suppose design, how much it will take? Design, let us suppose 30 hours it will take. Development 50 hours, let us assume. That means for login, how much you are going for? 80 hours. Okay, 80 hours. Exactly like that. Okay, so compose me. This is complex model, right? Let us assume. So design 100 hours. Development 200 hours. And for login normally points. Also another important concept will come across. During sprint planning, what they do is like scrum master or business analyst will be there. Okay, what he will do is like he will ask developers for login how many points you wish to give. Normally by considering which factors they will give points, really nobody sure. That is what agile methodology is, really headache methodology. So 5 points developer is giving. For login it is a little bit simple model, right? So 5 points, tester is saying like 3 points. Okay, but five testers are there, three testers are committing like 4 points, five developers they are giving like 5 points. So at that time they go for like either 4 points or 5 points. It's like poker planning. They will ask all team members how many points you have to go for. Like that, most of the team members how many points they are preparing. Like that they can go for. Okay, so that is nothing but like 8 points for compose mail. Then 5 points. Let us assume for login. Okay, so how many hours you got? 300, 380. How much you have? 120 hours. Then what for 120 hours? What is the simple task? Registration. Let us suppose registration 120 hours. Let us assume. So registration is again like 6 points user story. Let us suppose 6 points. Okay. So 120 means design. Let us suppose design 50, development 70 hours. Okay. Now who will be working on login? Five developers are there means login one will take care, right? Let us suppose Swati. Compose mail, who will be working? Compose mail is bit complex model, right? Two people. Registration if we take, this is also a little bit complex. Who all are available? Two people. So login. So this is a 4 weeks if we take. Let us suppose you are in the fourth. So fourth you are planning. So by login 8 hours, right? So 80 hours means how many days per day? For 5 resources means 5 into 6 30 hours. So 30 plus 50, that means like mostly you can get deployment, you can request deployment for sixth, right? For 5 resources, 5 per day, 6 hours only he'll be working, so 30 hours. So planning day, today your planning means Monday gone, so you cannot develop anything. So 30 days, 30 hours for 5 resources, 30 hours one day gone, then next 30 hours plus till 20 hours you have. So 3 days you can request deployment for Thursday end of the day. Okay, then exactly like that here 200 hours is going for, two guys are working, one guy is working means let us suppose here one guy is working means how much time he is having? 80. That means you will get deploy here only this date like 27 or 20 something, 20 or something like that. You are understanding, right? So that's how really development team they will come up with deployment schedule. Okay, so if we take like 50 plus 80 means 17, let 7, let us suppose login, uh, 19, let us suppose compose mail, and 28 you are getting like registration, let us assume. That is the case means developers are planning like that. Then and another thing is like if it is a waterfall model or V model, you will create test cases before getting first to release. That is important. But in agile methodology, that is not the case. All parallelly going on, right? So developers are coming up with like that, and testers, what you have to do is like you have to plan with respect to creating test cases according to deployment plan. Create test cases. During that time only you have to understand the entire functionality, entire about that module, that release. I mean like that user story. Then you have to come up with creating test case. Who will be taking care what? Who will create test cases? So seventh you are getting login. So who will be working on executing those test cases? That means like by seventh login module test cases gets ready. That day you are getting deployment means you have to get ready for testing, right? You have to get ready for testing means test cases should get ready. So that by this date login functionality related test cases get finished. So 19 or 20 something 19 you are getting compose mail. So by that time compose mail test cases as a tester you should get ready. You have to plan accordingly. Okay, then 27th you are getting registration. So by that date you will get ready creating your test. Like that you will plan. Developers are getting up with deployment date like 7th. Okay, let us suppose 7th. Here 20th, 29th. So accordingly they will come up with this is the plan, deployment schedule plan. Okay, accordingly you will come up with that is what I'm saying. You are getting a little bit hectic, right? That is what will be happening really in your agile methodology. Always they'll be talking. What they'll be talking really nobody aware of. Nobody having clear picture. They'll be talking like this every time. Every sprint. This is the headache. So that is nothing but like sprint planning. So like that you will plan that is nothing but normally sprint planning. Consists of two parts, development and testing. Okay. All team members sit together. Okay. So this is nothing but like a sprint planning. Developers and testers while sitting, Scrum Master also will get present at the end. Okay, even this sprint planning also product owner should get accept. Deployment plan you are getting right. Product owner should get accept. So sprint planning all this is nothing but like sprint planning meeting. Then sprint review. Whatever sprint planning you are coming up with, whatever the plan, even again that one needs to be reviewed, right? So that is nothing but like sprint review. Okay. So then sprint retrospective. This is another important meeting will be happening in your agile methodology. So at each and every sprint ending, what you do is like all people sit together and come up with like a retrospective meeting, like what went wrong for this sprint, what went well for this sprint. Okay, what went well, what didn't went so well. Okay, so how we can improve the process, where can improve the process. Okay, what went well, what didn't went so well, where can we improve. Like that you will be planning some those meeting points also they'll be taking note and record everything whatever you're doing. It will get recorded some, it will get noted somewhere. They will document. Okay, so sprint by sprint every sprint they will be happening like that. That is nothing but like sprint retrospective meeting. If there are any improvement areas, sprint to sprint you should get improved. Okay, so that is nothing but like sprint retrospective meeting. Then scrum daily scrum meeting already we discussed, right? Remember one thing, daily scrum meeting means it depends on the team members how many you are having, and this is just for discussing like their work, mean status, just what you did last 24 hours. Okay, what you're going to work today, next 24 hours. Are there any blockers? There is any Let us suppose compose mail functionality you have to work. Once you log in, then only you work on compose mail, right? Let us suppose there is a bug in your login. You are unable to log in your Gmail application. You cannot test compose mail, right? If there is a blocker, that is nothing but like implement also you'll consider it as. That is what you have to discuss. That is what you have to say. Like how you resolve, it's not like that. Sprint meeting means, daily scrum meeting means, it's not like resolutions or discussion or something like that. Only what you worked last 24 hours, what you are going to work next 24 hours, and what are your blockers. Only these are the three things you will be discussing. Okay, so they should be like, who will handle these meetings? Test, sprint retrospective, sprint review, and daily scrum meeting. Every meeting scrum master will be handling. Then user story, I told, right? So start requirement, normally we'll consider it like user story. Normally in your waterfall model or V model you will call it a like FRS, but here you will call it as user story. Product backlog, which are the features you have in your application you are going to develop. Those one comes under like product backlog. Sprint backlog, 100 you are having means, for this for this sprint, which are the user stories you are picking up. Burn down chart, burn up chart. Okay, scrum terminology. This is product backlog. Okay, looks like this. Even very high medium complexity of that application, that user story also will keep track. Okay, sprint backlog, dates you see. Sprint, these are the user stories. See, SBM, SM, JM. This one subject master. Okay, this one. So dates also you are getting, you see. Okay, burn down chart. Okay, this one. Everything burn down chart, how they maintain it, like with the help of points only. I was talking about like login 5 points, for registration module 6 points, something like that, right? So progress chart, day by day it will be burning down. Okay, so then productivity, it will be opposite will come across. Actually I forgot to put that burn up chart, but it's opposite. Okay, productivity will go up, right? What are the activities you have pending, that one day by day it will be decreasing. What are the user stories you are developed, that one day by day will be up, right? So that is what. So these are the concepts, really whenever you have time you go for. These are the different things you should have if you will be into like agile methodology. Okay, planning, release, sprint, task, continuous, everything scary, something like that. Quality means relativeness, acceptance criteria. This one I'm sure you don't try to remember, but that is what very high level whatever I'm discussing. Nothing else will be doing in the agile methodology here. Whatever I discussed today, if you are understand means, exactly you go and tell in the interview, there is no doubt, 99% I can assure you the job. If you put today like agile methodology and go attend means, even agile methodology, most of the project, most of the requirement today looking for. Okay, so if you put agile methodology and framework, qtp framework with hybrid framework. Okay, so with these two you highlight in your application means, in your resume, very easy to get the job. This is what we will be doing, a really practical oriented implementation, that is nothing but like agile methodology. Okay, any questions? Understand first question? Yeah, that is also right. The here now also I described, right? Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, that is only I told, right? Okay, see, during a sprint means 4 weeks of time you are getting. First week what you are doing, What is your name, please? Sorry. Swati or who? What is your name? When I told when you attended that one? Yeah, that is correct. I have told. Okay, I remember. But again, normally, yeah, that is what. So what I told, if you tell me means that one I will convert it. What I told that time, I could have told you like first sprint. Okay, 5 weeks means first week. Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah. So sprint again they will make it as like sprint zero, sprint sprint to, yeah, yeah. With respect to this one, I will tell you that means like these are sub sprints in sprint one. This is one major sprint means you are dividing it into three types. Sprint is zero. How I have explained at that time is like which are the user stories you are going to work for this sprint. You are taking, you are understanding those requirements, so you are planning up with like when, that is what, right? You'll be creating test cases like that. Okay, that is what today today also I told, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, then you will develop. As soon as you get application, what you do? Smoke testing you go for. Developers and testers, both the team members will be understanding the application. This first sprint is zero phase, and testers will be coming up with creating test cases, and developers will be start up with their development activities. Sprint one, once you get deployment, what you do? You'll be doing like smoke testing. That means like smoke testing or sanity testing. Okay, sanity testing. Okay, here during first week, analyzing requirements, analyzing user stories means requirements only, right? And creating test cases. Sprint 2, you will go for regression testing. Within this 1 week itself, you are within 1 week you are getting, right, for sprint 0. This is for 1 week. I could have told you like at the time 1 week. Sprint 1 again for 1 week. It depends on how many weeks you are planning. Regression testing 2 weeks. Release. Okay, this is release. Okay, 1 week. If it is 5 weeks, okay, that is what I told. So okay, here you are going for smoke testing, then regression testing, then release. My question here is like within sprint 0 1 week they are not developing all the user stories, right? So how you go for smoke testing here, how you go for regression testing? Okay, no, here another thing is like this is again project to project you may go for. It's not like every project go for this is the approach whatever I have told so far. Okay, so it would depend. See, already your project is there at that time. Okay, another way if you are going for this approach means so developers what they do is like next sprint. See, developers what they do is like next sprint user stories they will be developing. That means I'll tell you. So you are in sprint 16, let us suppose. Okay, you are in sprint 16 testing team. Development team sprint 17 user stories they will develop, and The time you are entering into sprint 16 as a tester, they will release it to your deployment world. You're understanding, right? Always developers will be one sprint forward, tester will be one sprint backward. Okay, so at that time, this is the plan best to suit. So as a tester, what you have to do, you are analyzing the user stories, smoke testing and sanity testing, first week regression testing, 2 weeks release plan. You understand, right? Normally this is the perfect plan, most of the projects follow it. Okay, but this is in scrum methodology. You will come up with one more team. Okay, that one I will tell you. Scrum team, if you take dev team plus test team, QA team if you take real testing team. Okay, so your testing team is there. This one you will call it like scrum testers. Scrum testers. So this scrum team, they will be working with dev team. Okay, again this depends on the project. In our current project, if you take, if I tell you means in our current project, this scrum team working with development team, what they do is like they will understand, develop whatever I told today, right? Whole story. So developers will be developing, testers, scrum testers, I mean testers here means scrum testers, they will understand the functionality, they will be creating the test cases, and whenever the deployment date, this is the deployment date, that day they will perform only for that module. That one what we will call it as uh, I can say that is what we will call it like user story. They will develop a login, only that is the functionality they are testing. Okay, so this one you can call it like scrum testing. Scrum testing. Okay, but that is what, so that is this plan with respect to like week by week plan. If we go for that is in combination of like with respect to scrum team. So scrum team working with development team, like developers, whatever the developers are coming up with code, testers will be coming up with their code as soon as they get deployed. So that means scrum testing and development testing, sprint 17. Okay, sprint 17. Really QA team will be one sprint ahead. Sprint 16. QA team. Okay, one sprint behind. So that's how it works. Now you understand, right? Okay, initially you may get little bit confusion. See here, one build, like how you can say like dev build, development team and testing team will be working. QA build, QA build. Okay, so dev build is you are in sprint 17 means QA team will be in sprint 16. So before starting sprint 16, you'll go for sprint 17. That's how it works. Okay, any more questions? Yeah, I will share everything. Okay, these days most of the clients predict. Okay, no, they're prefer, they're asking, they're like demanding. Okay, they're demanding, everybody demand. Yeah, client is demanding. Right, yeah, client is demanding to go for like agile methodology. Okay, any more question? Yeah, whatever we discussed today, if you understand means that is really more than enough. First what you do, like you understand this one, then you go for what are the PPT I'm having. Even this PPT also I shared, Even still you want means I have few more documents, I will share it to you. But first you have to understand this one, then you go for that material means is for perfect understanding you go for. Okay, so you update your resume with agile methodology, it's very easy to get the job with automation means really very easy. Okay, yeah, what about tomorrow? Weekends, Sundays. Okay, okay, Sunday 7 to 8 or 7 to 8:30 will meet. Okay, fine, right? Se- yeah, same time like today 7. Okay, yeah, Sunday. Okay, 1 hour will plan, 10 minutes less or more will take. Okay, fine. Weekdays 1.5 an hour will 1 hour only will plan. Okay, 1 hour. Okay, but we have to finish syllabus means we should plan 1.5 an hour. Is otherwise ending days it will get tough. Actually, one hour if we take, it will get to delay our course. Really. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. First make it 7 o'clock. Then we'll see. Few days. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. No problem. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. That's fine. Okay. Sunday will meet. Thanks for your time. Yeah. Fine. Bye.